Now at 5, severe thunderstorms with flooding, rainfall, and damaging wind rolling through central Indiana. We're tracking the storms.
The fate of a controversial petting zoo decided in Brown County. This comes after a wolf injured a baby there. We will show you what happened after 2 hours of public testimony.
New tonight, allegations of animal cruelty at a popular Indiana tourist destination, the call to action from police, and the consequences the business now faces.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Welcome in. First at 5, strong storms around central Indiana. You can see all of the activity on the RTV6 radar. And take a look at this picture sent in from former RTV6 reporter Jack Reinhardt. This is the view from a golf course near Noblesville, Indiana, in Hamilton County. Now, it's a good idea to get off any golf course right now.
And an amazing snapshot there. It is a Storm Team 6 alert day. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory is tracking what's in store for the evening.
Some spots have already had 2 to 4 inches of rain causing flooding. I'll show you where the flash flood warnings are, and this is the view now. Doesn't look too intimidating, but it will again as storms move back into western portions of Marion County. We've had several complexes of storms. One sitting near Crawfordsville. It's been there for a while. Another in Hendricks County, southern portions of Marion, northern Johnson, and then to the east, an intense storms around Rushville, and then down toward Bedford. Let's investigate this. We have one set of thunderstorm warnings between Newcastle and Rushville. This will cut through Connorsville and Liberty and Brookville Reservoir in the southeast. The flash flood warnings stretch from nearly Newcastle and Rushville all the way back up to Lafayette. As I mentioned, 2 to 4 inches of rain in spots have fallen. There's over 3 inches in Montgomery County, 2 inches plus in Clinton County, and to the south and east, just getting started. You've got more rain on the way there. As far as this heavy rainfall, Brownsburg to Danville, back to Bainbridge, then intense rainfall continues northern portions of Montgomery County. All of this sliding to the east slowly in the whole line to the south and east. Greenwood to Franklin, torrential rainfall. That's right along I-65. As you come to the south and east, Rushville to Newcastle, that's the most intense storm now that will cut southeast of Rushville toward Connorsville. Other strong storms in southern portions then of Lawrence County and south of Seymour. Damaging wind and hail, the main severe weather threats. Also, flooding rainfall will be an issue. It is an issue. We'll hear more about that through the evening. 6 to 8, we start to see this push to the south, and then by 10, some lingering showers and thunderstorms, Bloomington to Seymour. All of us under thunderstorm watch until 9 o'clock tonight.
Kevin, thank you. And you do want to stay with RTV6. We do have the tools to help keep you safe during storms. Everyday Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory, Kyle Mounts, Todd Clausen, and Alyssa Donovan post what you need to know on the RTV6 app. And you can download the Storm Shield app, which also alerts you to warnings and watches, which is perfect for today. And by the way, both apps are free. After nearly 2 hours of public testimony, Brown County commissioners finally made their decision on a controversial petting zoo.
And we first told you about a complaint made against Zoopolis yesterday, where a 9-month-old baby was injured by a wolf there.
RTV6's Stephanie Wade was there and has more on what's next for the zoo.
Even though this hearing took place in the morning during work hours, this room was full of people on both sides of the issue, just waiting to see what the future would be for this petting zoo.
Of course I'm pleased.
In a 2-to-1 vote today, Brown County commissioners voted to approve rezoning land so Kathleen Bowen could keep her business up and running. Zoopolis is currently located in Bartholomew County, but Bowen wants to move it to her larger 5-acre property in Brown County. It's garnered a lot of attention as their current animal ordinance doesn't address petting zoos. And Zoopolis is home to more than 100 exotic animals, ranging from zebras to donkeys, chinchillas, reptiles, and raccoons. The opposition wanting to ensure the animals are taken care of properly and visitors won't be in danger of getting hurt or catching any disease.
I am disappointed that the commissioners didn't table the issue for 30 days to allow the Animal Control Commission to develop ordinances for a petting zoo.
Now, while it was approved today, that also came along with a recommendation that the Animal Control Board examine changing their current ordinance to more clearly address petting zoos. More from the owner coming up at 6. Stephanie Wade. Wade, RTV6.
Thanks, Steph. And if you ever have a problem and you are not getting the answers, reach out to us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Investigators are now looking into allegations of animal cruelty at a popular destination for tourists and school field trips. We first told you last night about undercover video captured at Fair Oaks Farms in northwest Indiana by an animal rights group. We can't show you the video because it's too graphic, but these are some images captured by the Animal Recovery Mission during an undercover investigation. Fair Oaks Farm is located off I-65 between Indianapolis and Chicago. The owner released a statement saying the operation fired several employees who appeared in the video. The Newton County Sheriff's Office says it is investigating. The Sheriff's Office is asking for the names of those fired by the farm for animal cruelty, as well as any witnesses that failed to report the abuse for some time. Law enforcement says it will work with prosecutors to file charges for animal criminal activity that's uncovered there.
Only on RTV6, a crackdown on a string of robberies at cell phone stores in central Indiana. We have new details on this major case. Call 6 Investigates is learning that in a few minutes, authorities will announce a total of 24 people that have been arrested, facing 42 criminal charges from 11 misdemeanors to 31 felonies. Tonight, Call 6 Investigates' Paris LaBelle is breaking down new details on this developing story. Paris.
Metro Police making a number of arrests in these cell phone store robberies, and what's surprising to them is they say the age of some of the people involved. Arrests now spanning 4 different counties after cell phone stores across central Indiana were dealing with months of employees being held at gunpoint, as seen in this security video obtained by Call 6. Those robbers stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars of brand new cell phones at stores like AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, Metro PCS, and T-Mobile. Call 6 learning tonight 24 people have been arrested in this case, and a majority of them are under the age of 25. A number of them also under the age of 18, and police say that's extremely concerning.
We're going to put a lot of pressure on our 18-year-olds and higher, all our adults that are hanging out with juveniles and kids. That is completely unacceptable. Those are the ones we want to truly focus on.
For groups like Faith Indiana, who help steer youth away from violence using a faith and community-based approach, they say this is an example of why early intervention is important.
I think it's really important for parents to be involved as much as possible as they can, talking to their children, making sure they're educating them about guns if they see them, what should they do, and also just getting them involved in activities throughout their summer. There's plenty of camps that they could be involved in, the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, and keep them as busy as possible.
Police tell us they are continuing their investigation. They do believe there are other suspects out there, as well as they are going to go after some of those people that are purchasing those illegally stolen phones. In Indianapolis, Paris LaBelle, RTV6.
A popular ice cream shop in Greenwood is officially under new ownership months after the store claimed the change had already been made. Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny discovered the change today. Records from the Mrs. Curl store at the Indiana Secretary of State's office no longer have the name of John Casson. The reason this matters goes back to April 12th. That's when the 75-year-old man was arrested for possession of child pornography. Casson had owned the ice cream shop since 1997. In a Facebook post that was later deleted, the ice cream shop claimed that it had transitioned to new ownership as of January of this year because of Casson's age and pending retirement. However, Call 6 found that documents filed with the state in February still listed Casson as the principal owner of Mrs. Curl. Now, Call 6 has learned new documents filed with the state now list Ashley Miller and Sean Michael Casson as principal owners of Mrs. Curl.
Just into the RTV6 newsroom, Metro Police have made an arrest in connection to a deadly north side shooting that happened near a popular restaurant in the Keystone Clearwater area. IMPD says officers have arrested 25-year-old Gene Eangby for his alleged involvement in that shooting. Now, the Marion County Prosecutor's Office has not officially charged him. A man was shot late last night in the parking lot of a strip mall near Drake's Keystone Restaurant and Bar. That's near East 82nd Street and Clare Drive. The shooting victim later died from his injuries at St. Vincent Hospital.
This week has seen an uptick in deadly violence. It's a major problem Indianapolis hasn't been able to conquer. Today, Mayor Joe Hogsett and public safety officials detailed their summer violence prevention efforts for the year. Some programs include simply keeping kids busy this summer with jobs and job training. IMPD is also looking to hire 2 peacekeepers specifically to help identify and help at-risk juveniles to reduce crime. The Boys and Girls Club near Post Road has agreed to stay open late on Fridays to give kids something positive to do. At today's event, 9-year-old Elijah Boyd shared a poem he wrote about choosing love over hate.
If you see no love in your city, be thoughtful and find a way to find love in people. No one can stop you from stopping hate in the world. Love, not fear, and hashtag no hate here. Love is good, love is great, everyone needs it, by Elijah Boyd.
Boyd is a student at Lakeside Elementary School in Warren Township. IMPD Chief Brian Roach said Boyd has been inspiring to the department.
Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, family farmers face a lot of challenges, and now many are dealing with historic flooding. We'll show you one dedicated farmer's reason for why he won't call it quits.
Just ahead here at 5, what's the key to living longer? It may all have to do with pace. We'll explain that next.
Well, the pace has slowed on 465, certainly. Notice the headlights there when we're 4 hours from sunset. Torrential rainfall northwest side, 465 and 71st Street. Severe storm intense just southeast of Rushville, then south of Bedford. We'll scan the rest of the skies when we come back.
Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
Right now, police are urgently searching for this missing Plainfield man, and they believe he may be in extreme danger. The state has issued a silver alert for 72-year-old Alvin David Epperson, who was last seen around 9:30 last night. Police say Epperson is missing half of his index finger on his left hand, has 2 medically drilled holes on top of his head, and has 2 scars on his abdomen. Epperson is driving a red 2012 Ford Escape with Indiana plate D890UC. Investigators say the car has scrapes on the rear bumper, passenger side, and scrapes and dents on the front bumper. Police say Alvin David Epperson may need medical assistance. If you see him, call 911 right away.
New developments, an end to a years-long battle between Brownsburg and some property owners over an annexation plan. Now, this week, the Indiana Supreme Court ruled Brownsburg, quote, did not satisfy its burden of proving it had met the statutory requirements for annexing the disputed territory, end quote. So the city will not be able to annex nearly 4,500 acres of nearby land. It has been trying to do so for more than 5 years.
Democracy 2020 coverage tonight. A state senator from Gary has become the first Democrat to take formal steps toward a 2020 campaign for governor. Senator Eddie Melton announced the formation of a gubernatorial exploratory committee. He says State House Republicans haven't done enough on issues such as improving teacher pay and access to health care. Republican Governor Eric Holcomb hasn't confirmed his re-election plans yet. Right now, Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo are in tough negotiations with Mexican leaders on immigration just days before the president's June 10th deadline to impose tariffs on Mexican goods. ABC's Tara Palmieri is tracking new developments from the nation's capital tonight.
President Trump standing by his threat to impose tariffs on Mexico, the U.S.'s 3rd largest trading partner.
Mexico can stop it. They have to stop it. Otherwise, we just won't be able to do business. It's a very simple thing.
The president says unless the Mexican government stops the flow of undocumented migrants through the southern border, the U.S. will slap a 5% tariff on Mexican goods starting Monday. The president threatening to add an additional 5% every month, maxing out at 25% in October if migration continues at these high levels. The pressure is on Vice President Mike Pence and Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to strike a deal with the Mexican foreign minister and his delegation, who are in Washington this afternoon for some 11th hour diplomacy.
I think they want to make a deal, and they sent their top people to try and do it. We'll see what happens today.
Both Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill are against the punitive measures. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says U.S. consumers will pick up the costs.
Punishing Mexico will be punishing America as well.
Senate Republicans threatening to vote against the measure with a veto-proof majority.
Yeah, the 25% tariff would wreak havoc on the American economy.
The president is in the middle of trade negotiations with Mexico and Canada for a multilateral trade deal, and lawmakers are worried that these new tariff threats could jeopardize that deal. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
Terrifying moments for an injured hiker in Arizona. Medics brought in a chopper to rescue the 74-year-old woman who was hurt on a walk. When they loaded her into the basket that was attached to the helicopter, the basket started spinning out of control, as you can see in this video right here. The chief pilot for the police department says the line attached to the basket is supposed to keep it from spinning, but that didn't happen here. Crews were eventually able to get the basket to stop spinning and got the woman to the hospital. She was dizzy and nauseous following the rescue, but was not hurt further. Well, want to live longer? Who doesn't? A new study suggests one key may be to pick up the pace a bit when you're walking. A study in the Journal of Mayo Clinic Proceedings says brisk walkers are expected to live longer, with life expectancies of about 87 years in women and 86 years in men. Our Scripps team spoke with orthopedic surgeon Patrick Yost. He thinks that's in part because regular moderate physical activity, like a fast walk, protects your bones and joints.
People who are less and less active, which can happen when joints hurt, they lose their ability to move. So it's important that even if you have early arthritis, that you keep moving and keep exercising.
Study participants who called themselves slow walkers had much lower life expectancies, although Yost says that could be due to self-reported slow walkers having other health problems. Yost recommends 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking a day to keep you physically healthier. He says studies show regular exercise also makes you less likely to develop a mental illness. Turns out, it's all about that pace.
It's all about that pace.
That's what you got to think when you start walking down the hallway. Just think it's all about that pace. Well, it is a proud day here at RTV6, graduation day for 8th graders at an Indianapolis school that we've helped to champion, spending a lot of time with students there.
8th graders at Urban Act Academy on the East Market Street graduated today. RTV6's own Meredith Barrick served as guest speaker for the event. RTV6 and our parent company's nonprofit, the Scripps Howard Foundation, has been involved with Urban Act Academy. We've thrown parties at the school and held a book drive, among other things. Today we spoke to Urban Act Academy's 8th grade valedictorian, and she had this message for her class.
I've been with y'all, and this has been one of the greatest years, school years, of my whole 9 years so far of school, and I just want to thank y'all. Y'all made it possible for me. Without you all, I probably would have. Y'all just painted the way for me. Y'all helped me along the way, and I thank y'all so much for that.
And we want to congratulate all of the 8th graders at Urban Act Academy.
Congrats.
Congratulations there.
Smile tells it all, doesn't it? Time lapse as the storms rolled into Marion County, also Boone, Hamilton. It got real dark, and you had headlights in the cars come on, and torrential rainfall. That has been one of the menacing things. On the left-hand side, you just see that rain dropping out of the thunderstorm.
This video is eerie.
Right.
Yes. And so it's brightened up for now, and we'll have more storms moving back into Marion County.
What we noticed is that they've been quick-moving systems.
Fair, each individual cell, but sometimes they build back behind it, so you get more than one coming over the area, so that's our challenge. All the yellow behind me represents a thunderstorm watch. That's in effect until 9 o'clock, meaning conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms, damaging wind and large hail. You see how these are all over the place. Earlier, they were just concentrated in a single line to the north. Now they're fairly widespread. Let's go to our live drive. This is in Marion County and Broad Ripple. You've had one round of heavy rainfall. Looks like slow-moving traffic. Broad Ripple is certainly one of those spots in Marion County. You get a heavy downpour in a short period of time, and you will have flooding issues. The rain is fairly light there right now. Let's survey the showers and thunderstorms that we have. We have one thunderstorm warning. This has been an intense storm southeast of Rushville now, and Rush County no longer in this. From Connorsville to Liberty to Brookville Reservoir until the bottom of the half hour. 5:45, a strong storm, southern portions of Lawrence County, south of Bedford near Mitchell. As far as the thunderstorms, heaviest rainfall shifting between Danville and Mooresville. That will cut over the airport. Other strong storms with heavy rainfall. Finally, you're getting a break northern Montgomery County, but that's shifting into Boone County. That will come into Marion County as well. There's your intense storm. Look for some 60-mile-per-hour gusts, hail, and flooding rainfall with that. And then as we pop into southern portions of Lawrence County, there's your very heavy rainfall crossing south and eastern portions of the county. Definitely rain cooled, you can feel that. It's temporary. 67 in Tipton, well, it's 86 in Greencastle. Bloomington's at 86 until the rain arrives. Then you too will drop a quick 15 degrees. 6 to 8 showers, thunderstorms start to shift into the southern half of the viewing area. By the time we get to 10 and midnight, we start to wrap this up and the severe weather threat will be ending. Tomorrow, fortunately, rain chances very low, just 20%, and that's from Indy south. It'll be a little higher as you get toward the Ohio River. Temperatures in the low to mid 80s, and this kind of confirms that we're just looking at some cloud cover tomorrow rather than any widespread showers or thunderstorms. Friday, we get a break from the rain as well. Saturday and Sunday, temperatures in the low 80s. Our rain chances increase once again, and then next week consistently cooler. Still the threat for rain on Monday. I think one of the bigger concerns here in the next few hours will be flooding rainfall, so we'll keep our eye on that.
All right. Thank you, Kevin, for that. So what does the tech company Microsoft have to do with your hygiene? We will show you next when the News at 5 continues.
50 rallies and checkers. Best foodies know the deal.
Well, as you know, personal hygiene is important. So the question tonight, would you trust Microsoft, yes, the tech company, to keep you smelling good?
Microsoft is teaming up with the company behind Axe Body Spray to create Xbox branded deodorant, body wash, shower gel, and body spray.
Clearly, this is targeting gamers who may spend too much time playing video games and not enough time grooming themselves.
Maybe this is a message. Xbox deodorant and body wash will only be available in Australia and New Zealand starting in July. There's no word if they will ever be sold in the U.S.
But like we always say, you can get anything on the internet, right?
Absolutely. And Microsoft says the fragrance is a mix of fruit, herbs, and the smell of different kinds of wood. So a little bit different than your computer disk.
We'll see how it plays out, right? Yeah, exactly. Coming up here on RTV6, all new at 6. A community says animal neglect has to stop, how they're changing their approach, and the law.
But first on the Now Indy, health versus economic growth. Why some people in an Indianapolis neighborhood feel they're being forced to choose between the two. You're watching RTV6.
Keller and Keller.
Topping our lineup here on the Now, you're soon going to be able to be allowed to put more money into your health savings account. We're going to take a look at why you might want to start considering Amazon for that. And smartphones, they aren't cheap these days, but we have some little-known tips that will make your old phone last longer. Plus, more police departments, they're offering incentives to get smart surveillance cameras into our neighborhoods. But we have some of the possible risks to consider with this growing surveillance network.
Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday for the Now Indy, and you're looking over the downtown Indianapolis area earlier this afternoon from that north view, and you can see this thunderstorms moving in with the very heavy rainfall, especially just north of downtown Indianapolis. Some heavy rain out of that thunderstorm came in with some gusty winds as well. That storm has moved off to the east, but more are starting to line up, and we continue with our severe thunderstorm watch here. You can see it has been chipped away a little bit to the north, still though including Indianapolis and all the way down to the Ohio River, all the way until 9 o'clock this evening for us. And that thunderstorm activity is actually continuing to increase in coverage. We got a couple of warnings for you here. One just south of Bedford, that's a thunderstorm warning until 5:45, as that storm in the southern portion of the county could have some large hail, also some gusty winds with it. Strengthening storm around Nashville, not severe at this point, but still could have some frequent lightning, also some gusty winds as that's moving in toward Columbus. You're going to get some heavy rainfall, and that's continuing to expand from Greenwood into Franklin and Shelbyville, even around Greensburg as well. Another severe thunderstorm warning, including the Connorsville area. This one's going to run until 6:15 this evening. Once again, some hail, some gusty winds. That's been the theme, but also some heavy rainfall. As you can see this afternoon, back to the west, we've had around 4 inches of rainfall, and then that kind of tapers off a little bit toward the south and east. We'll continue with showers and thunderstorms this evening, but once we reach around 11 o'clock tonight, things should improve. Amanda.
Thanks, Kyle. In a battle over zoning, what matters most, health or economic development? Or can you have both? The Metropolitan Development Commission took on that issue to determine if a gravel processing plant would be able to operate in a West Side neighborhood. RTV6's Derek Thomas reports.
This is the property in question in the 2200 block of Montcalm. Owner Jay Walters will lease part of it to Contract LLC for a gravel processing plant. Neighborhood residents are leery about the proposed project. Those concerns are noise, dust, and health. 64-year-old Gregory Walston is a kidney transplant patient who lives nearby.
They're saying it's going to be safe, but like a lot of other people that's in that corridor, industrial corridor, they start off saying it's safe, and then it turns out as the years go through, it's a total different thing.
The silica dust created from the gravel processing is what Paula Brooks is concerned about.
It exacerbates heart conditions, asthma, diabetes, kidney disease. It's very serious. And the mixture, that's the other issue, the mixture of the dust with the diesel fumes is a problem.
Those comments are in sharp contrast with folks in the neighborhood who see the new business as an economic development boon that will create 50 new jobs.
We partner with them as far as jobs coming in. They've held 2 job fairs for us, and they've already hired several people from our neighborhood.
Those jobs are quality slots.
Welding, steel fabrication, truck driving, stone operation, robotics, CADs. These are careers. These aren't just jobs flipping burgers and hoping you're going to make it from paycheck to paycheck. That's why I'm supporting it.
That was apparently a winning argument. Today, by a vote of 6-1, the Metropolitan Development Commission approved the rezoning. Derek Thomas, RTV6.
Family farmers face a ton of challenges these days, and you add historic flooding to the list. Well, Chris Welch met one farmer who has a special reason why he won't call it quits.
Just remember the scissor tails. Dad, that was his favorite bird. He loved to watch them.
This is where Robert Stobaugh usually feels most at home.
Mom and Dad homesteaded here in 1956.
But not today.
Does not even resemble home.
This is just part of the thousands of acres of crops on land his family's cultivated for almost 70 years, now drowning in floodwater.
It's heartbreaking. It really, really puts you in a very humble position. There's 2 miles of water from here to the foot of that mountain.
He managed to get most of his machinery to higher ground.
We probably moved 15 rolling pieces of equipment.
But stuck below the surface, corn, 5 feet tall, now barely recognizable.
85 to 90% of the corn is ruined.
And under here, rice.
Approximately 50% of the rice is heavily compromised, if not ruined.
He's seen a few major floods before, but this truly is unprecedented.
You say this is easily the toughest year you'll have?
For us, it will be.
And it comes at a time when this farmer hasn't seen a profit in 5 years.
It's gotten really, really tough.
It would be understandable if Stobaugh felt frustration, even anger.
Can you vocalize what's going through your head right now?
Just blessed.
Despite all this.
Yeah. This is Stobaugh's brand new granddaughter. She's the reason he says this won't be the end of the road for the family business.
Makes you want to work hard so that Annie Lee can have a part of these opportunities.
Maybe one day, calling this home herself.
Whatever's left, we're going to try to farm it.
Near Blackwell, Arkansas.
That's what we do.
I'm Chris Welch.
All right, Chris, thank you. Let's get back to our lineup, and soon you're going to be allowed to start putting more money into your health savings account. Well, we're going to show you why you might want to start considering going to Amazon with that money.
Come score big with our low prices.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. As Hamilton County's population continues to grow at a rapid pace, so does the county's plumbing needs. So today, Indiana American Water Company and the city of Noblesville broke ground on a new water treatment plant in the 19,000 block of Allisonville Road in Noblesville. The $18 million project includes the new treatment plant and additional capacity at the Allisonville Road Wellfield site. This should help ensure that the water in your house continues to have a place to go after you use it.
Another medical testing company has announced that its patients' data has been compromised. Now, this is different from the Quest Diagnostics data breach that we told you about this week. LabCorp says more than 7 million people were affected by this flaw. happened between August of last year and March of this year. Now, balance and payment information may have been breached, as well as other personal information. The breach stems from American Medical Collection Agency, which also worked with Quest Diagnostics. Now, believe it or not, we're already about halfway through the year, so it's not too early to start thinking about your money for next year. The IRS just announcing new limits for health savings accounts. Now, the agency will allow you to set more pre-tax money aside for medical expenses. Individual accounts will allow you to save $50 more total. Family coverage accounts, well, that'll allow you to save $100 more. Now, if you're not sure exactly what you can buy with those HSA dollars, well, Amazon may actually be able to help you. Amazon has a page with items that are eligible for FSA or HSA money. Now, as you may expect, they are mostly medical supplies, but you can also find pretty useful everyday items like reading glasses, contact lens solution, even lip balm and sunscreen. So when you're shopping on Amazon, you do want to double check just to make sure that whatever item you're buying qualifies for FSA or HSA spending. You want to look at the item description to find that out. Then when it's finally time to check out, you can actually add your FSA and HSA card as payment options. Now, if you're just finding out that some of the items that we listed actually qualify, but you've already bought that item, you could also possibly be reimbursed, but you will need to go through your health insurance for that. And we do have more to get to here in our lineup. And look, smartphones, they aren't cheap, but we do have some little known tips to make your old one last longer. That's ahead here on The Now.
Tune in.
Let's start the news feed. And New York taxpayers, they're not happy with this one. A new audit looking at what the state's Medicaid program paid for between 2012 and 2018 found that sex offenders received $63,000 worth of erectile dysfunction drugs. Now, state law says that Medicaid is not supposed to pay for that stuff no matter who you are. These mistakes have state leaders there now calling for more oversight immediately. Well, police say that this Indiana man, he shot up a mobile home, but then he called Lyft to be his getaway driver. Seriously, officers tracked him down. They say they found a gun under the seat. The Lyft driver had no idea. Police say that he shot a man in the foot, then fired several rounds in that mobile home before just dialing up the app to try and escape. Empire actor Jussie Smollett is now former Empire actor Jussie Smollett. The show's creator says he will not return for a final season. Smollett was accused of faking a hate crime in Chicago, but again, those charges were dropped. Right now, about 50 million people worldwide deal with dementia. Alzheimer's disease, that is the most common type. There are 10 million new cases every year and currently no cure. A new report looks at what we may think can prevent it, may actually not. Kamasi Aaron explains.
Legs, knees.
At least 3 times a week, you'll find Leslie Johnson in her gym working out.
So, you know, it isn't anything great that I do, but I have to feel like I'm doing something.
This, paired with her vegan diet, is how she works to keep her Alzheimer's from progressing.
You lose so much, and so you'll try anything.
Leslie's approach to prevention is spot on, according to new guidelines from the World Health Organization. It says exercise and eating well, like following a Mediterranean-style diet, may help prevent dementia. What it says doesn't work: vitamin pills promoted for brain health, like vitamin B or E pills, fish oil, or multi-complex supplements. And according to research, they can actually be harmful in high doses.
And people are really looking for something they can do, not just take a pill.
Dr. Jack Clapper is founder of the Mile High Research Center, which treats patients with dementia. He says he sees a difference with patients who get a diagnosis and give up.
They go downhill very quickly. Whereas people who say, well, what can I do to slow this down or make it better, they do a lot better.
He says implementing exercise doesn't have to be hard.
So it doesn't have to be, crazy exercise. It can be something simple like walking your dog around the block 3 times a week.
The World Health Organization didn't endorse games and other activities aimed at boosting thinking skills because there's low evidence of benefit. And while Leslie doesn't know how much benefit she'll see from her time in the gym, she's still planning to show up.
I do it, and I hope that I can, make it work.
I'm Kamasi Aaron reporting.
A summer tradition in Pendleton takes on an added importance after an EF2 tornado hit the Madison County town on Memorial Day. The June Jamboree is a welcome distraction, but it's also a chance for town leaders to check up on their residents. In the main tent at the festival, people can report if they still have damage at their home so that resources can be assigned to help them. And also it gives a chance to check in on people emotionally after the traumatic event. The tent also has a spot for people to write thank you notes to first responders and volunteers that have come to help in the town's time of need. People say having the June Jamboree so soon after the storm is very important.
When you look out, 4 or 5 blocks around here, you still see trees and debris and things like that. But this is normal now. This is something that says life is going to go on. And that's so significant in the lives of the people that have been impacted. So it's a good thing.
Pendleton has held the June Jamboree for just over 50 years, and residents say this year it carries a whole new meaning of community coming together. The festival continues until Saturday at Falls Park. Kyle.
And Amanda, it has been a very active spring of weather across central Indiana, and that continues for us today. You're looking out around central Indiana. You can see there the traffic moving along Sam Jones Expressway and I-70 there. Also across the top of your screen, several Weather Now camera views as we've got thunderstorms that are moving on through. Let's go ahead and bring you back here and show you what all this rain has caused. Some issues around Thorntown. You can see this is a field, but all of this is actually flowing with some debris and the flash flooding issues. Appreciate the photo and the video coming in there. Here's a view over downtown Indianapolis. We are rain-cooled 67 in Indy, but you're still 86 degrees in Greenwood and Bloomington. Those temperatures will be dropping as rain continues to drop to the south here this evening. Storm Team 6 radar showing one thunderstorm that's now gone severe across portions of Clay County for some gusty winds, possibly some hail in that one. You can see additional downpours moving through Hendricks County. This is going to be sliding back in to the Indianapolis area within the hour. And then we've got additional thunderstorms near I-74 and 65 here through southern portions of Shelby County, continuing to strengthen here a little bit north and around the Nashville area. And this stretches through Columbus. And look at all the lightning with this, as well as the torrential rainfall. Want to stay away from windows as this storm moves on through. And there's our storm, southern Lawrence County, but you have been cleared from the warning at this point. Thunderstorms will continue to drop to the south. I think by about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, we're in pretty good shape. Then tomorrow, just an isolated chance for a shower or storm into the afternoon with our temperatures into the lower 80s. Next few days, those rain chances ramping up for the weekend ahead with high temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Chris?
Better battery life is on the way for iPhones. Apple's iOS 13 update is going to incorporate battery optimization features. Now, that'll help the device last longer. Right now, iPhone batteries, they usually only charge up to 80% of their capacity. The new feature will have the device learn how often a user charges their phone, then top off the battery before it goes into its reserve of extra power. Now, let's turn to Andy Taylor here with some other ways that you may not know to keep your phone and battery lasting longer.
A cell phone should last anywhere between 5 to 10 years, depending on how well you take care of it. And we're not just talking about throwing a case on it. Here are easy ways to get your phone and battery lasting longer. We visited U-Break iFix, and besides a shattered screen, the most frequent problem Robert Viator sees, customers' phones stop charging.
Hey, my phone won't charge anymore, and immediately we can tell that it's not plugging in all the way. It takes 2 seconds to clean the lint out, and they're like, oh my gosh, like that was it? And it's like, yeah, it's just pocket lint.
We've all been there. Your battery's almost dead and you have no charger, so you stop at a gas station to buy a cheap one.
Using a very cheap product on your phone that isn't necessarily designed for your phone specifically can run the risk of overcharging it, just shorting out. It's just not as quality a product.
Who doesn't want their phone at 100% battery? Well, Robert says don't overcharge your phone. Once it drops below 40 to 50%, then you can think about plugging it in. Otherwise, let it be. And we all know using apps can drain your battery, but so can 4G and LTE. So if you're ever in a place with Wi-Fi, use it. Oh, and if your phone claims to be water resistant.
Water resistant doesn't mean waterproof.
With that being said, be careful leaving it in the heat.
100-degree weather, if you leave your phone in your car for any amount of time, can loosen that adhesive, so that water resistance goes away.
Robert says besides being out of date, the only time you should be replacing your phone is if the motherboard is corrupt. Otherwise, if you take good care of it, you shouldn't be shelling out hundreds of dollars every year or so on a new phone. I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
All right, Annie, thank you. Let's start the news feed. And it is really hard to feel safe about online security these days. And maybe you feel good about two-factor authentication. Well, think again after hearing this. You know, that's when the code is sent to either your phone or email to get access. But Fortune magazine says that hackers have a new scheme that can intercept that code, then trick you into giving them your information. Well, this could be the future of heart attack recovery. This pumping patch, what has millions of living and beating stem cells that can help repair damage to a heart after a heart attack. The patch, it's sewn onto the heart. The British Cardiovascular Society says tests are still about 2 years away on that. New Zealand's taking a unique approach when it comes to its budget. The country plans to base its spending on the happiness of its people, it says. It says it's going to be called the well-being budget. They say this budget will make some major investments in helping with mental health and stopping sexual violence. Well, many times people who have a lot of followers on social media, they try to sell you stuff through paid sponsorships. Now, some of those products are getting the attention of lawmakers. The Federal Trade Commission has a request to look into detox tea sales on social media. The concern is that claims made by some of these so-called social media influencers are misleading. Detox teas could also contain ingredients that could interact with common medications and cause issues with things like taking laxatives and caffeine. Now, virtual reality is proving to be life-changing in so many ways, and this young college grad has a passion for manufacturing, specifically 3D printing, but she's legally blind. She can only really see clearly when an item is only a few inches from her face, yet these Google VR goggles, they have a tiny camera added to them. It was an absolute game changer.
We got to see Tia for the first time reading something on the wall across the room.
I want to be an advocate for visually impaired people and tell them that manufacturing is a possibility for them to go into with the right technology.
Yeah, those goggles gave her 20/20 vision and allow her to keep working. Great stuff. All right, finally in our lineup, more police departments are offering incentives to get smart surveillance cameras into our neighborhoods. But coming up, we're taking a look at the possible risks to consider with this growing surveillance network.